Item. SCP-1071. Classification. Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. All instances of SCP-1071-1 and -2 are to be kept in separate containment lockers in Site S storage, with access allowed by Level 3 or higher permission. The contents of all instances of SCP-1071-3 are to be catalogued and kept in the archives for future reference. It should be noted that it is possible that not all instances of SCP-1071 have been contained, and that some may still be in circulation. During the school year, SAT testing should be monitored to detect possible instances of SCP-1071. Unless part of an experiment, all test takers who receive a fail result are to be put in isolation in order to prevent any repeats of Incident 1071 to 1015. Test takers with this result should be considered a minor cognitohazard, and any aggressive action taken against them should be reported to Dr. Dart. If test taker is D class, they may be exempt from retirement for no more than 5 weeks in order to study effects. It should also be noted that any attempt at causing grievous bodily harm to a test taker will result in a reprimand, regardless of security clearance or position. Description: SCP-1071 is the collective name for the answer sheets, SCP-1071-1, and the test booklets, SCP-1071-2, from the SAT reasoning test. When not being used, SCP-1071-1 and -2 are ordinary SAT testing materials distributed from the year 2020 as of time of writing. Reading through them without meeting the activation criteria shows that the questions consist of several mathematics, literature, history, science, and language questions. As expected, there are currently instances of SCP-1071 in storage at site. SCP-1071 is activated when an instance of SCP-1071-1 and -2 are brought together, and the subject's name is inscribed upon the exterior of the booklets with a number 2 pencil. Regardless of current educational status, the test taker will take SCP-1071 as if it were an actual SAT reasoning test. The subject can leave at any time, but doing so before completion of at least 60% of the test and/or expiration of the testing period, determined to be 3 hours and 30 minutes, results in a failing grade. Attempts to observe the contents of SCP-1071-1 and -2 during the duration of the test are futile. The paper appears to be a normal SAT reasoning test to outside observers. After the test is completed, however, no results can be viewed on the answer sheet. In addition, the test taker cannot remember the contents of SCP-1071, even under hypnosis. They will, however, consistently mention that the essay question was the easiest part of the test. Approximately 3 weeks after completion of the test, an envelope, designated SCP-1071-3, will appear in the test taker's current place of residence, regardless of whether or not there is a mailbox, or even a mail delivery service, available. SCP-1071-3 will contain the results of SCP-1071. However, results will only have anomalous effects if opened by the addressee. It should be noted that the results refer to SCP-1071 as the improvement test, rather than the SAT reasoning test. The results of this test are not consistent with the scoring system for the SAT. Instead of being calculated in a numeric value up to 2400, the results instead take the form of a form letter. The form letter informs the test taker of one of 2 results. They either scored proficiently on the test, which produces no results, or they have failed the test. Test takers who receive the fail become the subject of passive-aggressive tendencies from other human beings. Subjects who have failed SCP-1071 have reported relationships failing, being fired from several consecutive jobs, having neighbors file petty complaints against them, and an increase in suspicion from law enforcement and government workers. Test takers also report an increase in technology failing and incidents of animal aggressiveness. As time progresses, these tendencies become more and more harmful to the test taker, escalating from various verbal slurs to assault, and finally to sexual crimes and attempted murder. Death of the test taker immediately ends all aggressive actions, often leaving the tormentors feeling remorse for their actions. However, in recorded instances, SCP-1071-3 has come back without containing standard results. Instead, it contains a slip of paper with the words "Congratulations. You've passed. We'll come to collect you soon," written on it. Within 24 to 48 hours of receiving this result, the test taker will experience feelings of euphoria and contentment. At 72 hours after receiving results, the test taker will disappear when unobserved. It should be noted that this is not a total disappearance. Items such as clothing, jewelry, dental fillings, and tracking devices will be left behind. As such, the whereabouts of test takers who receive a pass result are currently unknown, but theories include data expunged,